Well, Patty, I was thinking about it the other day. When you find a campground you really love, what is it about that campground that makes it a good campground? And I thought we ought to discuss it in today's episode of Travels with Delaney,
the podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back. My name's Patrick.
I'm Patty.
And Truman is joining us here on the old podcast couch today.
I think he's cleaning the couch.
I think he's cleaning something. Bess is over on the theater seating.
Yeah.
So this is our mobile podcast couch.
Right.
We're in our brand new Alliance Avenue 29RL.
I can't get those numbers. I'm glad you got them.
Well,
I just know it's Alliance.
Yeah, I just know it's a beautiful rig, and it
gorgeous.
feels like home, and that's a good thing.
That is awesome, yeah.
It won't be that long before it will be home. So,
you're right.
So
you're absolutely right.
Now's the time we have to test it out and make sure it works.
Yep,
and
which we're doing.
Yeah.
And it's working so far, so yeah.
Well, I thought today what we would do, because we're at a beautiful RV park right now.
Oh, my goodness.
We are back down south in South Carolina at the Hilton Head National RV and Golf Resort.
It is so posh.
Yeah.
Even someone last night that we ran into, another friend of
Fellow
ours.
Hoosiers.
Hoosiers.
Yep, the McCoys.
They're like, this is like Disney.
Yeah, except half the price.
Yeah. It's just the way the property's set up. It's
Yeah.
very, plush and clean, and Disney's the same thing.
Right.
So, yeah.
And so I thought, let's talk about, because there's these, and we'll get into it, but what makes a good campground a good campground?
Right.
And so I thought, well, we'd share some of our thoughts on it and maybe stimulate everyone listening to think about, if you're looking for a campground, what is it that you're looking for that's going to make it good to you?
Right.
But before we do that, we have to do another episode or round of this or that.
I figured you'd be doing that.
That's right. We do it every episode, Patty.
Oh, that's right.
All right. So,
Silly
Patty,
me.
I was thinking if we might head out tonight for some dinner.
Okay.
Because it's hot out and I don't want to cook.
It's too hot to even grill. It's just crazy. But go ahead.
All right. So there's two items on the menu. Which one are you going to order?
Okay.
Are you going for the fried shrimp?
Okay.
Or are you going for the pan-seared scallops?
Oh, my. This is a toughie because I like both.
And interestingly enough, maybe like a year and a half ago, this would have been an easy one for you.
Yeah, this is a tough
because you used
last
to say,
year, you learned last year how to say scallops.
Yeah.
Not scallops.
Well,
Scallops.
only if you're in Maine.
Maine.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go with the pan-seared scallops.
All right.
They are just so. My mind goes to the so buttery ones we had.
Yeah, if they're good, if they're fresh,
Yeah.
and we're here in
On the
Bluffton,
coast,
South
yeah.
Carolina, so they have good fresh seafood.
I do like shrimp. I think if you would have said more like a grilled shrimp,
Yeah.
I probably would have jumped right on that. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I kind of wanted to push you on this one, so I guess the winner was the scallops.
Yeah.
And I do like a good scallop when they're sweet and they're cooked right and they're not rubbery.
Yeah, I don't like rubbery. They are awesome.
I think that's one of the things I love about coming down here or anywhere on the coast is getting good fresh seafood,
which we love.
Yeah. So we were at Captain Woody's in historic Bluffton.
The other night.
A couple nights ago.
Yeah.
And I had their shrimp.
Good.
I think their shrimp are probably as good as I've had anywhere.
Oh, they're so good.
I had them fried, and it came with, fries and coleslaw. And by the way, that coleslaw was amazing, too.
It was so good.
And then you actually had a salad where you had grilled shrimp.
Yeah, I had a chef salad, and you could add in a protein, and I added in grilled shrimp. They were awesome. I think if I did my dinner over, I just they had a garden salad, and then instead of the chef salad, because
you had a lot of meat on there.
Had a lot of other meat. Had bacon and turkey, and I wasn't sure how much of that was going to be on it, or
there was a lot. That was a huge
salad.
salad.
Yeah, it was so good. So so I love it there. It's such good food, and I'm sure we'll be back. I'm sure it's a good place.
Yeah,
they were busy.
We might end up there again tonight just because the food is good, the service is good.
It's just a fun location. It's just
and honestly, I think their prices are right there in line with the area.
And remember, there was that new place next door. Something about the pie, a slice of pie.
Oh yeah, the pizza place. Oh, we could do pizza.
Yeah,
tonight,
we could do pizza for something different. Yeah.
All right, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about.
You can tell we're thinking about food already.
Campgrounds. I know. So I was thinking about this yesterday, and that's why I wanted to talk about this. So
all right.
I think if you ask us to name maybe our 4 favorite campgrounds,
Right.
it's a real dichotomy.
It is.
In the sense that we would name, I think, Fort Wilderness
Yep.
at Disney World and Hilton Head National
Where
RV
we
and
are
Golf Resort, where we are
currently.
right now.
Yes.
And these are 2 high-end,
Very
high-dollar
posh.
resorts.
Yes. You got to have the money, money, money.
Right. But I think there's another category, and we would then name Forest Ridge up in
Yes.
Ellsworth and Happy Acres
Right.
in Angola, Indiana, our
Correct.
hometown,
Right.
as the other 2 that we would rate up there as our favorite campgrounds. And I thought, how can you compare Forest Ridge and Happy Acres? Number one, size-wise, they're both under 100 sites, and they have very limited amenities.
Right.
Neither of them have asphalt or concrete for their roads.
Right.
And compare that to Walt Disney World, the Fort, and here at Hilton Head.
Yeah.
And yet, in many ways, I would say they're very similar.
They are.
In terms of us saying they're great places to camp. So let's talk about them. Let's find those commonalities of what makes a great campground for us.
I think I'm going to start with cleanliness.
Cleanliness. I agree. I think when you go to a campground,
Right.
when you first pull in, you get a sense of, is this a campground I'm going to like?
Right.
And, if you pull in and there's trash, if the buildings look run down, if there's lots of old sites where people have refrigerators and old cars on their lot.
That's kind of, as my 5th graders would say, it's a little sus.
That's a little sus, yeah. And the thing is, obviously, you don't get any of that here or Fort Wilderness.
No.
But you don't get any of that at Forest Ridge or Happy Acres.
You don't.
Both places, and both are so unique. Like, we could have a whole discussion just comparing the 2.
Right.
Because I always say I feel like they're sister properties.
They are. I think so, too.
In the sense that they're very similar in size, very similar in the type of campground they are. But, like, a good example is when you arrive at Happy Acres, the check-in building is quite a ways away.
It is a distance.
From the actual campsites. And it's a bigger building.
Yep.
Angie does this amazing gift shop.
Oh, it's awesome.
With lots of logoed merch.
And the pleasure stuff you might need if you need, like, grocery store things.
Right.
A few things.
Buns and bread and,
or a few
hot
things
dogs.
For your trailer if you need,
And then Forest Ridge, their camp store is literally a shed.
And it's right at the entry.
And it's a super cute little shed.
It's very cute.
I mean, you pull in, you just like, oh, this is cute.
It's adorable.
And they don't have near the merch.
No.
Jeff and Lynn stock a few
things for your trailer, like Happy Camper kind of stuff.
Yeah, and then they have
some shirts,
a couple shirts and things like that, and then a few items that are made locally.
Right.
But both of them, when you pull in, you just go like, this is a very cute, clean campground.
Yes. Yeah. Clean is I think I always look for clean.
Right. And I think the other thing that goes along with clean, and I might be wrong, maybe it's a separate category, but it's our podcast. We can do this however we want. When you pull in and everything's mowed and trimmed up.
Oh, nice.
And the flowers are looking good and the flower beds are free of lots of weeds.
Yeah, that also goes, I think, in my mind.
Yeah. The concrete sidewalk or the pavers, they're not all cracked and broken and look like they're from 1968. You know what I mean?
Right. I know what you mean.
I mean, because we've been to some campgrounds where you pull in and it just looks so run down.
Well, it just looks like, has anyone been here in a while?
Yeah.
It's like, it just looks kind of yucky. So.
And then I think the cleanliness you could extend to areas like the bathrooms.
Yep. Absolutely. The shower houses, the bathrooms.
Right.
If there's a pool area or a playground, is it clean and kept
up? Or
and,
is it run down? And
even the fire pits kind of thing, if there's trash in them, or weeds growing out of them or whatever. I think that all goes into, like, my first impression as we pull in kind of thing. So
you don't need to be Fort Wilderness or Hilton Head with gates and fancy signs or anything like that. You just need to make a good first impression and throughout with just keeping the place clean.
Right.
And I know, like, both places, I was talking about Forest Ridge and Happy Acres, both owners pride themselves in keeping things clean.
And maintained. Yeah, because, keeping it nice and fresh and pretty and, all that.
And I think the problem is some campgrounds, they get run down. The owners just take all the money for themselves. They never put any money back. And I know both of, Jeff and Lynn and Angie and Kevin both put tons of money
and time
back into their parks.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of reminds me. If you were to ask both of them, like, why do you do it?
Yeah.
I think this would tie in with a Colonel Woody story.
I think it would. The mailbox story.
The mailbox story. This could become a new feature on our podcast. A Colonel Woody story.
A Woody story.
A what? A Colonel Woody? Yeah, you got a little tongue tied there, Patty. So my uncle, Colonel Woody, tells this story, and he always likes to make sure people know it wasn't his own. He heard it from somebody else, but he took it as his own when he was in the Air Force. I say took it as his own, meaning he would tell it to his people that work for him.
Yep.
But it's a story about two guys who are out one day when it's hotter than blazes.
Like today.
And they're mowing their lawn, and the one neighbor yells over to the other, "Why do we do this?" And the other one says, "Because our name's on the mailbox."
Yeah.
And I love that story. And I think that's why Kevin and Angie and Jeff and Lynn put so much effort
on it. Yeah.
Right. It's a pride factor.
Right.
And maybe that's the key is local ownership versus some of these corporate campgrounds where there's no actual owner there.
No, and it's just, someone else, and it's not their, I call it pride and joy.
Right.
It's not theirs to, worry about.
Yeah.
And
now, we're setting in a corporate, I would assume this is some kind of corporation that owns this place, and it is top notch.
Well,
but it's in a different category.
Right, and you could tell the workers take pride
in
it, or they've been trained to take pride in it. Just for example, like here, I'm like, what is that noise? It sounds like a fighter jet going over. I know there's around here somewhere. There's some
fighter jet.
And it's like, what is going on? And we look out the window, and there is I assume a worker in his golf cart pulling behind a blower. He's blowing off the roads because there's pine needles that kind of blow out.
Yeah.
Or they were mowing, and this thing sounded like a little jet.
Right.
Or they're out here trimming in this heat, doing the edging of the roads and the sidewalks, and it's like, oh my goodness. I know they're probably getting paid, but they've learned that this is something to take pride in, and they love this place, just like it was theirs.
Right.
Kind of like at Disney, the cast members take pride in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I'm with you on cleanliness.
Yep.
I have another one, though.
Okay, go for it.
At least for me, and I think probably for a lot of people.
Okay.
I think security.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not talking security like you need a cop running around or a guard.
No, or a fence or something.
Yeah, I'm just talking that when you pull in and you get set up, you feel safe for your family to stay there.
Yeah, you usually can, at least we've learned to trust your gut.
Right.
When you pull in and if you have this weird feeling, you need to go with your instinct and move on. And we had to do that a couple times. But if you got this feeling like, all right, I feel good here. It feels comfortable. And don't get me wrong, I do like to have a little fence sometimes or a gate.
Right.
It just kind of helps you know that not anybody off the street who wants to make riffraff can come in. But, yeah, that's kind of, I agree with you.
I don't even know if you have to have the gate. A good example, Jeff and Lynn up at Forest Ridge, they're not gated.
No.
But I think part of it is knowing that the owners are there.
They are there
all the time. Maybe gives you a sense of security. And I think you just sense it when you pull up.
Right, you kind of do. You just kind of get a feeling.
Maybe that goes back to the cleanliness, though.
It might. You think, okay, it's nice here. It's not like weird shenanigans are going on, kind of thing.
Because, we've seen some campgrounds where you pull in, and again, I hate to, I don't want to sound snobbish, but, when there's 3 cars parked on a campsite and 2 of them you can tell haven't ran in 10 years, and there's a washing machine, and there's a refrigerator, and
that one, I'm thinking that we probably shouldn't have stayed, but like the campground was in a round.
Oh, yeah, out in Oregon, yeah.
It's like we were in a wheel.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was some shenanigans going on there.
I think some shenanigans. And you got off to one side, folks partying hard.
Yes.
Early in the afternoon. Early. It wasn't like, and it kept
As
going.
I sit here and drink my gin and tonic at 3:15 in the afternoon.
But
I'm on island time right now.
Yeah, but there was some major partying going. Not that I'm a fuddy-duddy, but you could just kind of, just the way it was, and it wasn't very clean at some points. And, yeah, it was just kind of weird.
Right.
Had a weird vibe to it. Yeah.
So, I again, I don't even know if you can always put security into words in terms of, I think you just sometimes know it. Like
it's a feeling.
It's a feeling that you feel safe.
Yeah.
And I think like you said, we've been at some campgrounds where it was kind of like we couldn't wait to get out of there.
We're like, let's
and
cut
maybe it was a false sense.
Maybe.
But
it was just kind of the feeling you got.
Right.
Yeah, you didn't see a lot of people sitting outside of their trailers. You didn't.
Right.
It was just weird. It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
weird.
and so you want, I think, not only do you want the place to be clean and welcoming, but you also want to feel safe while you're there.
I
And I
think
think
so.
that, and again, I feel safe here, obviously, and
Oh,
at
yeah.
Disney we do.
Oh, yeah.
But at both of the smaller
Others,
parks
I
that we're
feel
talking
safe.
about,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
So, all right, what else you got?
I'm thinking when you pull in and whoever greets you or talks to you, or even on the phone, you make a phone call to make your reservation, you got a friendly person on the other end of the line.
Yeah,
Someone
I
who
think
is very friendly and welcoming and kind, and doesn't mean they're going out of their way being silly, but they're just a very kind, helpful person on the other end of the line.
Yeah, and I think that's just, I think if you just said, not even just when you arrive or on the phone, but just
Anybody.
the staff in general.
Yeah.
You know, when you have a campground where people make you feel welcome
Yes.
and they are appreciative that you're there.
Right.
And, you know, I've always said at Forest Ridge, you know, Jeff and Lynn treat their guests like family.
They do.
I mean, first of all, for those of you thinking, oh, he must be getting paid to say
We
this,
are
we are not being paid to say any of this by any of these 4 campgrounds.
No, it's just we've experienced how kind they are, and everyone that works at these campgrounds. Yeah.
Jeff and Lynn didn't even know who we were
had no idea.
until 2021.
Right.
Was our first time in Maine, and we just made a reservation. We went there. I was so impressed that I was making a video, and I went up the last morning and I said to Jeff, because he had introduced himself as the owner while we were there and offered us assistance as far as he didn't know anything about us. And I just said, hey, I have this small YouTube channel and I'm making a video because your park is so nice and I'd love to share it. Are you okay with that? And he was like, oh yeah, that's fine. And I remember I said, I'd love to have you speak.
And he got so nervous.
Yeah, he got a little nervous. And our friendship grew out of that.
Yes.
But I mean, part of the reason I wanted to make that video was we felt like that first time.
People need to know about this.
And they just made us feel welcome, like we were family.
Right.
You know, like I would go up, because Mark and Karen were with us, our friends. And Mark and I would go up and say, hey, where do you recommend for, some good seafood? But we don't want the tourist places. And they just, that's the great thing about Jeff and Lynn is they're like personal tour guides to everybody in that campground if you want one.
Yeah, if you want one.
And when I say personal, I don't mean they're going to take you out, but they will help create a travel plan.
Right, and they will take their map, and they actually went above and beyond and put 2 maps together so you didn't have to have a weird crease, and you had a highlighter, and he highlighted different things, different colors, foods and places to visit and attractions and whatever, beaches, and it was just awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And same way with Happy Acres. I mean, Angie and Kevin are always in the campground as the owners.
Yep.
Kevin's always out and about talking with guests at their campsites. Angie's always assisting people like in the office or on the phone.
Anywhere.
And that level of service then trickles down to the employees and the work campers.
I guess it's kind of like when as a teacher, you're emulating.
Right.
Like kids see you, how you behave, then hopefully they will emulate you. That's the, kind of the thing we try to do as teachers.
Right. And here's the thing. I mean, I want to toot my own horn, but I work at Happy Acres now. Yeah. And, I would like to think that I'm a part of that I'm helping make guests feel like part of our Happy Acres family.
Yeah.
In fact, Randy and Callie from RV Destinations Magazine have been up to Happy Acres twice. And we recorded a podcast with them recently where we were talking about Happy Acres, and Randy said something along the lines of, I just get a vibe here, like a family vibe at Happy Acres. Yeah, and a sense of
community.
And
like everyone has each other's back.
And I mean, they'd only been there for like 3 or 4 days, but they could sense that.
Yeah.
And those are the kind of campgrounds I want to stay at. I want to stay at the Happy Acres and the Forest Ridges.
And that's one of the reasons we love camping is the people.
Right.
Everyone seems to be so helpful and kind anyway at campgrounds, versus staying in hotels and whatnot. But yeah.
Yeah, and obviously at these higher end campgrounds, you should get that if you're paying.
If you're paying what we're paying, people need to be
I
kind.
think I don't remember exactly what we're paying here, but it's well north of $100 a night.
Yeah.
Because I think our total bill was about $700 for 5 nights.
Right.
So I don't even know. I don't want to.
And we
math.
had
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And most of you, if you follow our YouTube channel or even the podcast, when we stay at Disney, it's easily $250, $260 a night with taxes and fees.
Yep.
But we always say, like, the cast members at Disney are so friendly.
They are. They are.
And same way here.
Yeah.
I mean, we pulled in.
That gentleman came right over.
Over.
Happy. He's like, "You woke me up from my nap."
Yeah, and he was just, and not like the mean kind, but like, because I said, "Oh, I'm sorry." He goes, "No, I needed to wake up." And
he goes, "I was in a zone."
I mean, he literally walked me over to the front desk.
Well, he greeted the pups. The pups were in the truck, and he was just so kind, and he was talking about anything. Just
the ladies working in the office, on the check-in were great.
Yeah.
Came back out. The gentleman was ready to escort us to our site.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how good staff
can make a difference.
Can make a huge difference.
It's like anything, a restaurant or a store. It's just yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So yeah, customer service, friendliness, hospitality.
Yep.
Yeah. What else?
I'm thinking maybe a few amenities might be nice. Kind of like, Forest Ridge has a cute little pool and a playground for kids. And then you got Happy Acres. They got the beautiful pool and some play areas for kids and the disc golf. And here, of course, you got the pool and the lazy river, and you've got the pickleball. Well, even Happy Acres has pickleball. I forgot that. But you got all these kind of little things. They don't have to be fancy things, but you got some things. It's not over the top. It's some things that are amenities that people might enjoy doing. It's like the extras, like the sprinkles on top.
Right. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I don't think you need a ton of amenities.
Just some.
Yeah, and so up at Forest Ridge they have the pool.
Yeah.
They have the laundry room,
they have a
which, by the way, that's an amenity. I know everybody thinks of it. Patty's listing all like the amenities, like things to do, but a laundry room many times that works
is an amenity.
is an amenity, and same way at Happy Acres, we have a nice laundry room there.
Beautiful, yeah.
So I think
and nice shower houses.
Yeah.
And restrooms that are clean and kept up and nice and
right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's true. I think the question always comes up: do you need activities? I don't think you need activities because something like good example when we go to Forest Ridge, even if they had activities, which they don't, we wouldn't participate. Why?
Because Maine is the activity.
Exactly. Acadia National Park. Everybody's going up there.
You're going to the ocean. You're going to Acadia. You're going out to Momo's Cheesecake. You are going and out to explore the area because the national park is right there.
Yeah.
The ocean is right there. Deer Isle and what's that? The
Nervous Nellies?
Yeah, Nervous Nellies, Jams and Jellies. I mean, you just got so many cool places to go. You don't need a lot.
No, I don't think you need a lot of activities, or any for that matter.
Because like Happy Acres, you got all the lakes. If you could rent a boat.
Pokagon State Park. You got wineries. You got the Buffalo Farm.
You got the cute downtown with the cute little shops. If you're into antiques, they got all those antique shops downtown and the cute little restaurants and. It's a college town, so it's got real preppy feeling to it, and there's just so many. You got Auburn Museum for Cars if you're into that, or the museum in Elkhart that's not too far away. So you don't need a lot of activities, but sometimes if there are, it's cool. It's
I mean, we went up yesterday here. They had bingo where it was music.
It was
and we had so much fun, and it was free. We do activities at Happy Acres. We do trivia there. We do pool parties. But I don't know that, like, for us, that's not a I think
for me, that's not like I have to have that.
We don't care if you have it or not. Again, we just,
I guess if out of all those things, the
room.
laundry room would be my top.
Yeah.
A nice laundry room, and then if I needed a shower house, I don't.
Yeah, but it's still nice to have restrooms if you want to go use them.
Right, if you're out and about, taking a walk or whatever, and there's nice restrooms to use.
Right.
Yeah, here they're very posh, just like Disney.
Yeah,
so.
And so I think that's pretty much our list.
Yeah.
And it's such a simple list, and yet so many RV parks fail at it.
They struggle, don't they?
Yeah.
I think the most time we are, the cleanliness gets me. I want it clean. I want a nice, clean-looking park.
I will throw another thing out there
Okay.
that maybe we should have addressed early on.
What's that?
I think you want utilities
that work,
meaning good electrical supply boxes and good water spigots.
Yeah, because I remember, what was it, maybe a couple summers ago with friends?
Yeah,
the power kept
going out. We were at it was actually a Corps of Engineer park.
Was it in PA?
Yeah, that had not been updated. The wiring was so old it was not able to handle all the big rigs.
It was a hot day, and all of us along this one area, it just kept popping. and we were concerned about the pups and trying to use our other ways to keep cool, but it was like, okay, come on.
You want to know, especially for those of you that are like us that have fur babies that you're leaving in your RV.
They're going to be safe when you're gone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's another just basic, and we've seen parks to where the electric boxes are scary looking.
They're very scary.
And, if you look at Forest Ridge and you look at Happy Acres.
They are not.
They're brand new. Both of them have basically brand new.
Electrical.
And
all that wiring is new and fresh.
So I think that's another thing that I should probably add in there. But, so the question is, why are there not more RV parks in America that, are on this list? And again, I think it's, if you're lacking any, let's just break it down into these categories. Cleanliness, security and safety,
right?
Utilities, and finally customer service. It was basically 4 things. If any one of those is missing,
it kind of falls apart.
I think it does kind of fall apart for us. I don't know that if your campground has really good utilities and, maybe it's clean and it feels safe, but people are rude, I don't necessarily want to stay at an RV park where people are rude.
Because I think you kind of get that vibe.
Yeah.
It all goes with the vibe.
Or if you go to a campground where everybody's really friendly, they keep it sparkling clean.
But then the utilities are crap.
Yeah. Then it's just,
like, I can't
that's a
do
problem
that
because we
either.
worry about these guys or even ourselves. We don't want to, in the middle of the night when it's 90 degrees out, not be able to run our AC.
Having to worry about, and you can't be comfortable.
Yeah. So I think we could almost break this down into
break it down. Wiggy, wiggy.
Yeah, like 4 building blocks to a great campground.
All right. What are the blocks?
Well, I just said them.
Okay.
Clean.
Yeah.
Safe.
Yep.
Good customer service.
Correct.
And infrastructure.
That's
in essence. We'll call it infrastructure.
That's right.
The power, good supply, good water, safe
pressure,
water, things
clean
like that.
Clean water.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't even care if you got sewer at this point.
No.
I would take,
clean water.
As long as you have a dump station.
Yeah.
But
I can handle that.
So for us, honestly, water electric is fine. We can survive.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like if you don't have those 4 building blocks, I don't know if you can ever be a great RV park.
Right.
So
I
don't know.
so.
Just our opinion.
Yeah. Hey.
It is what it is, right?
It is what it is.
I'd love to hear your guys' comments. For you, what makes a great RV park for you? What are we forgetting? You know, are there things we're forgetting?
We all have things, and sometimes our minds aren't always working.
Right.
And,
I just think those 4 things, both the smaller parks that
and
are
the larger ones can do
all have in common.
And they can do well if they want.
Like we just tied together. We just made Forest Ridge and Happy Acres just like Hilton Head National and Walt Disney Sport Wilderness Resort.
Good?
We are good. Oh,
yeah.
We should have our own podcast.
We should.
Oh, that's right, we do. And we have a podcast thanks to our good friend and producer, Mr. Jim Kuzman.
Thank you, Jim.
Jim's the one that goes through and
he
edits
has to
this.
Listen to these,
he has to listen to every one as he's editing.
Poor guy.
I know. I feel bad
Hope
for
I'm
him.
not boring you to death.
No. And thank you to all of you who are taking time out of your day to either listen on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on our dedicated channel, Travels with Delaney, the podcast.
Yep.
And
that's my part, the podcast.
The podcast. You want me to do it again?
Yeah, sure.
On our dedicated channel, Travels with Delaney.
The podcast.
Very nicely done.
See?
Beautiful.
You're welcome.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you for joining us this week. And until next time, we'll see you.
On down the road.
Bye.
Travels with Delaney. We'll see you on down the road.